All right.
We look insane. I love it. You're cracking me up, Karis.
Dudes, we ready?
At least I'm good for
Yeah,
something,
dude.
man.
We almost ready? Sam staying? We got to get a shot at Sam at some point.
Snugging it out.
All right, let's do it.
Oh, Sammy.
We'll get him in this. Oh. I hope he's not going to do that.
It's just because
Oh,
he
the
got
tail?
excited because you said his
he-
name, Karis.
All right, fine. Fred.
You be quiet, Sam. Okay.
Don't do it.
Welcome to the H&H, Bungalow 605, the New Croc Park. Welcome to the great state of Tennessee. Welcome to the Black Bear. Welcome to the Den. Welcome to the Snug.
Doug Reiser.
Here, Karis Carter, coming at you.
Oh, and hello. This is Ashley Mae King.
I'm Rosie, and we are the JuJuBeez. On the Stick, a 2000 film directed by Cameron Crowe, Almost Famous.
This film follows a young writer as he travels with the fictional band Stillwater on their tour across America. The film depicts their highs, lows, and the drama along their climb to fame in this coming-of-age tale.
Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay in 2000. It won a Grammy Award in 2001 for the
Wow.
Best Compilation Soundtrack Album for a Motion Picture, Television, or Visual Media. 2 Golden Globes, Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. And I just want to say, why are musicals and comedies in the same category? That needs to be addressed.
I've
Fun factor.
I've often wondered that.
Best Supporting Actress, Motion Picture, Kate Hudson. Many have said that this is one of the 100 greatest films of all time. Dun, 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 dun. Loosely based on Cameron Crowe's experience as a writer for Rolling Stone as a teenager when he toured with bands like the Allman Brothers, Led Zeppelin, Leonard Skinner, and so many more. Many of the events throughout this film were directly inspired by events in his life during that time, such as coming to Jesus moments, loss of virginity, falling in love, really all the basic rites of passage that makes this story so universal among a larger audience and in the rock star world as we see it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
If you've already seen this film, Almost Famous, definitely hang out with us. I think you'll enjoy this discussion. If you haven't seen this film, we promise no spoilers, but we are going to discuss it, and each of us will give a score. And based on that cumulative score, we're going to make a recommendation for you. We'll try. Cool?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's jump right into it. Let's get this discussion officially started. Ashley Mae King,
Yes.
what'd you like? What'd you love? What not so much? Almost Famous.
Well, from the moment this movie starts, you are immediately transported back into this like late 60s, early 70s kind of setting with the costumes, the set design. You're right there in the midst of all this like hectic backstage energy, all these like big swanky hotel parties and like the cramped tour bus environment. And I really love that the film depicts that so realistically. You feel like you're right there with them. And I loved that opening scene with Zooey Deschanel where she's like, "You would never understand me, Mom. Only Simon and Garfunkel understand." And she like plays that track for them. And I think everyone has had that moment. Granted, for my generation, for me, it was probably like a Death Cab for Cutie song, but like Simon and Garfunkel was just so iconic. And like that moment was so good. Into what I loved, God, what a stellar cast.
Ugh, so good.
Billy Crudup just has that effortless, cool factor that is so typical of that era's rock star. And Kate Hudson with that like it girl mystique, she plays it so well. And then the earnest awkwardness of our protagonist, William, but underneath all of that, in each of their characters is kind of this deep sadness and this darkness that kind of is the core of this film, kind of that juxtaposition. And And I loved, like, this film has so many great scenes, like in that airplane where they hit the storm and they just all start like spilling their truth, and it's like played really funny. I always forget how funny this movie is, and truly, it has some great comedic moments. Now, to get into what I didn't like, which is kind of what this film hinges on, is these young girls who are 16, 17. Granted, they're saying they're older, but I feel like there's not much investigation gone into that because no one wants to ask that question. They're fawning over these older musicians and following along with them, and truly are kind of being taken advantage with, taken along for the ride, traded at one point for a pack of beer. And just the disrespect of that, it's problematic, and it is addressed as problematic within the film. The protagonist, William, does bring this up. But the way that they're treated is just disposable it's really hard to watch. It's heartbreaking, you know? There's also a scene to kind of like speak to that loss of innocence where all these girls, these Band-Aids, they're conspiring to take William's virginity, and they're all kind of like not ganging up on him so much, but like peer pressure is very much at play in this environment. And, you know, I feel for the dude, like that's a very difficult situation to find yourself in. And, you know, it's uncomfortable to watch. And then the next morning he's carrying their laundry down for them. You know what I mean? Like, you know, can I
ask you a quick?
Absolutely.
I guess if it's hard for you to watch that, it's hard for you to realize, because I don't think anyone's suggesting that's not realistic. I mean,
no, yeah.
We know there are Band-Aids. We know that there's peer pressure for things like sex. But I guess the question I would have is, as a filmmaker, how do you reconcile that? How do you reconcile including these type of scenes in the film, including that type of subject matter in the film, and being true to what he probably experienced, because this is semi-autobiographical?
Yeah.
How do you look at that?
I think even within the film, the way that it is addressed and the way that William is given that voice, where he is that next morning after that night with the girls, he's like, what am I to you? And kind of like he confronts that. And I think that raises how problematic it is. And to the point where he talks about how the band treats the girls as disposable, he gives the voice to that. And I think that is kind of the point of the film. And that's how you depict these moments, while also raising a voice to like, hey, like maybe this isn't great. The only scene that really stood out to me as kind of differing from that narrative, where our hero of the story, our protagonist William, he does take advantage of a character who's passed out at one point, in the way that, so Kate Hudson's character is passed out, who he has really grown to have like a lot of affection for, and he admits his feelings, but she passes out in his arms and he kisses her, which, I mean, that's not great. And then there's also this moment where he's literally watching them like pump her stomach, and she's vomiting into this bathtub, and the camera is lingering over her legs and her short skirt and everything. And we're meant to believe this is following his gaze and all this stuff. And he's romanticizing her in this situation where she's literally like, you know, that is not necessarily raised as problematic, and that I think is kind of the difference there. You know what I mean? Where like he's giving voice to, hey, these things are wrong and I'm gonna be righteous about it, but that moment, even then, he falters. And granted, you can maybe make the argument that he's being influenced by his environment and the people that he's been around, you know, but to me, it still isn't a great situation to see, you know, your kind of innocent protagonist taking advantage in this way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of like, I say all of that, you know, and that is kind of the core of the thing, like these things that are problematic. But like it is in this larger narrative of this film that has like, you're just along for the ride. And it is really fun, as, you know, dramatic and sordid as it gets. But yeah, those are
Two quick questions. One, you'd seen this.
Yes.
Anything different this time around? Did you enjoy it less or more? And then my other question is, do you have a favorite scene?
Oof. Wow, favorite scene. I do. Dude, it's hard to pick. I think the airplane really sticks out to me because it is the writing in that is very well done. But I also really love when they go to that house party. And
Topeka? Is that Topeka? The Topeka, Kansas?
I think so. And Billy Crudup's up on that roof and he keeps me like, my last words are this. And like the crowd's like, meh. And he's like, I like drugs. And they're like, yeah. And it's like, it's very much that moment. I love that scene. I think the writing in that scene's really well. I did enjoy this movie. It was kind of like I'd seen this movie before. I think I was able to dive a little bit deeper into it on this watch and truly kind of enjoy it more for that. Though more did stand out to me as being kind of like, I don't love how these girls are being treated, you know?
Yeah. Did you remember from the first one that Stillwater came to Greenville, Tennessee, right down the road?
Yeah.
Are they a real band?
No, but
That's cool.
no, but you know,
Wild. Oh,
but Greenville, Tennessee is on the tour
I
stuff.
see. Yeah. Okay. They kept saying Greenville, and I kept thinking it was like, surely this isn't our Greenville. It couldn't be. That is so crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you, Ashley. Okay, something exciting now, guys. We're going to just take a slight little break from our discussion. It's time for our brand new segment called You Can't Handle the Truth.
That's right.
Doug Reiser will read 5 true or false statements about the film Almost Famous. Ashley and Karis have to decide which are true and which are false. Doug.
Yes. Speaking of snug, here we go.
Are we going to talk about this first, or are we just going to shout out?
Ashley.
Oh, okay.
We're going to start with Ashley.
Okay. Oh no.
Question number 1.
Yes.
This is for you now. Almost Famous star Kate Hudson was originally cast to play Anita, William's sister. True or false?
Ooh. True.
No!
Oh, you can handle
You
the
can
truth.
handle the truth.
Is that right?
Well, yes, because after convincing Crow cast her,
She fought for that part. She
That's
was
fantastic. I can't
That's Penny
imagine.
Lane.
cannot imagine, right?
No, absolutely.
Yes.
And I feel like Zoe is so iconic in that role
Yeah,
too.
absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
All right,
Great
number 2.
job.
Number
Number
2.
2. All right, Karis, get ready. Let's do this. The original title of the film Almost Famous was The Boy in the Band. True or false?
The boy in the band or the boy and the band?
And the band.
And the band.
Oh, the boy and the band.
The Boy and the Band. True or false? You're up.
Oh, man. I really want to say true.
Oh, you can't handle
You can't handle the truth, Karis. I thought you could handle the truth.
false, Karis. Cameron
Truth is just
Crowe.
too much, man.
He originally called it The Journalist.
Journalist.
Because he was a journalist.
Of course, that makes sense.
Almost
Different
Famous
than
is much better.
Journalists these
Good
days
question.
now with so much of this going on. But all right.
Threw me.
Okay, Ashley, we're back to you now. Number
Okay.
3. Question number 3. You ready?
Okay.
Val Kilmer was originally cast to play the part of Russell. True or false?
Oh. I feel like that's probably true, but I hate the idea of it.
Oh,
Is it false?
You can't handle the truth.
I can't.
It's false.
Wait, did
Wait till you, Brad Pitt.
Was originally cast to play Russell and worked with this part for months.
He was preparing pre-production for months,
what
getting ready.
happened?
And then before
That I
filming
don't know.
started, just it fell through and
Billy Crudup is
walked
so
through the
amazing.
door.
I could not
was
see
Billy
Brad
Crudup.
Pitt doing it.
Yep.
Could not see that.
No. Wow.
Ashley. All right, here we go.
Hurts.
Back to Karis.
Yes, sir.
Question number 4. Cameron Crowe also directed the Academy Award nominated film Jerry Maguire. True or false?
True.
Oh, you can handle the truth. Yes, you can. Great job. All right, now, excellent. Question number 5. This is for the
Isn't
both
one,
of you.
don't one of these make a...
Ashley and Karis.
No, it's not that one.
Let's rock and roll. Let's do this.
Okay.
In the scene towards the end of the movie, where Penny Lane runs out of the party after being asked to leave because of Russell's suspicious girlfriend, there's some product placement of beer. Remember? The beer is Miller Lite. True or false?
Wow. What a hard one.
As I sip my Miller Lite, what do you think? Should we say true?
All
I
right.
think we have to say true.
Okay. True.
2, 1, boom!
Oh, you
dirty
You
dog.
can't handle the truth.
Not Miller Light, Miller
The
High Life.
champagne of beer.
Oh.
I mean,
Miller High Life.
did you need a more obvious clue?
And guess who's
I thought
drinking
that's
it?
what you said.
Guess who's
That's what you
drinking it?
said.
He said Miller
Karis,
Light.
Oh.
you can, sorry, you're supposed to go to her. Wow.
Good one,
Cheers
guys.
to you.
All right.
Nice work.
Very good, Doug. Thank you. Back
Thank
to
you.
our
The
back to
rhyme
our discussion.
Oh, yes.
All right, Karis. What'd you like? What'd you love? What not so much? Almost Famous.
I'm going to start off with what I didn't like. And that was the first time I saw this film. I saw it, I think, freshman year of college. And a little background, I was raised incredibly sheltered, conservative Christian, did not see a lot of, as we called it, secular media.
Wow.
And so seeing this film, all of it made me very, very uncomfortable. The way that women were being treated, the abuse of drugs and alcohol and sex and fame, and taking advantage of this young journalist who's there to make a name for himself, and he's there trying to work, and everybody just makes it so hard on him. And then at the end, things happen, and you feel so bad for him. And those gut-wrenching feelings in films that just absolutely tear you apart. I'm not talking about a tearjerker. I'm talking about something that just hits you and is like, God, that is so wrong, and you feel like you've been wronged yourself. Like, I hate that feeling. I'm so glad it eventually went away throughout the film. But
So I felt when I saw Doug's Fast in there.
Yeah, it's a little, yeah.
No, that's so
if
right.
you're not
That's so
watching,
right.
I'm still
Doug Reiser is wearing
For our listening
very,
audience,
the
for our
attention
only
away from-
listening audience,
very sexy leather vest with his bare chest out and his four hairs popping.
A little fuzz.
I hate this.
Get with the fuzz.
I hate this.
You should check it out just to see how amazing he looks right now.
Up coming at you.
sorry, Karis.
So no, we're all good. So now seeing it 21 years later as a real person living in the real world and society and all, wow, what a beautiful, beautiful film. Super nostalgic. I was not alive in the 80s or in the 70s. I was born in the 80s, but and that's one of the things that I loved about this film, how deep the character development went, how really impactful the music, how powerful the role of the music was in this film, and of course the cinematography, the costumes, like you said, Ashley, the cast, so many good, wonderful things throughout this film. The storyline flowed well and got just deep enough to keep you in the story the entire time. And it's so nice to get those sweet moments of humor and release in these very tense scenes. I just can't say any more about it. The whole film was like that. Every scene was so impactful. In the bus when was it in the bus when they sang Tiny Dancer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, I don't think I ever really heard that song until
It's
this
one
film.
of my favorite scenes. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
You know what I like about that is it's kind of relatable. You don't have to be a rock star on tour to know what it's like to be on a bender for a few days.
Oh, yeah.
and just need somebody to bring you somewhere and maybe a song to lift you out of that. I've been there.
That's right.
Definitely. Listen, I want to make a final mention here. I think everybody kind of touched on, I think most people love and like the same things in this film. Do need to mention the late, great Philip Seymour Hoffman as
Yes.
Gonzo rock critic Lester Bangs.
Yes.
Do yourself a favor. Go look up Lester Bangs. There's video of him on YouTube. Hoffman becomes Lester Bangs in Almost Famous. His ability to mimic this guy is uncanny, and as always, Philip Seymour Hoffman equal to the task and then some. The writing in this movie is legendary, truly. So many quotables, and no surprise, Cameron Crowe won the Academy Award for Best Screenplay. Yeah. If you've seen this film, maybe it's been a while, dust it off. Watch it again. I think you'll be glad you did. If you've never seen this movie, if you still haven't seen Almost Famous, give it a look. I don't think you'll be disappointed. There are some problematic themes. I think they're somewhat worked through. It maybe takes a little hit in the scoring for me, but speaking of scoring, let's go ahead and do that.
What you got?
What you
I
got,
gotta
Dougie?
give it a 10. I love this film so much. The music, the soul the music is the soul of every character in this film. Love it.
Karis.
where I sit now, I have to give it a 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm giving
Ashley.
it an 8.
Solid 8.
Yeah, it would be a 10 for me, but I agree with some of the things Ashley said, and for me going forward, I think we've learned a little since we've started this podcast. I've got to give it a slight knock. It would be a 10 for me, but because of some of the themes not totally being worked out, I'm going to give it a 9. That's a total of 37, if my math is correct. So the JuJuBeez recommendation for the film,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Almost Famous,
That is our
Fantastic.
recommendation.
is we aren't saying see it tonight, but see it
very,
very soon.
Gotta see it. Gotta
Ashley
see
Mae
it.
King.
Highly recommended.
This movie has a runtime of 2 hours and 2 minutes. It is rated R for language, drug use, some nudity, and suggestive scenes. And you can watch it on Paramount Plus, YouTube, Google Play, Vudu, Amazon Prime, and Apple TV.
Almost Famous, y'all, and we're almost done. But one more thing. Everybody raise a glass. This is 10 episodes.
Oh my goodness!
Cheers. Cheers to y'all.
Big thanks to you guys. Big thanks to
class,
Jen
Renee.
Maple
Cheers to
Moth,
you guys.
who takes care of our shots. She keeps them asymmetrical, but
Thank
she keeps
you.
our Miller High Life cold, and we appreciate that. To Anthony B. Frazier for our post.
Yeah.
To Sam, who's hanging out here with us today.
Sammy.
He's been a good boy. To listeners and followers and all that stuff. Thank you guys, as always. Doug Reiser, Karis Carter, Ashley
you all.
Mae King, JuJuBeez. That's a wrap.
Rosie.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
Cheers to music, baby.
Until next time. Let's just
Juju.
keep it in the
Juju.
70s.
I know. I love this era.
It's so good.
It's awesome.
I think we have some.
My coat is legit
the
from the
costumes,
70s.
the
you
music,
guys.
just the free
Love these
spirit.
outfits. This is like just another day for Karis, and frankly, just another day for Doug. But
Yeah, just
Yeah,
another day.
honestly.
Just another day.
I saw you walking down the street the other night.
Snug
I was
it
like,
out.
damn, I hope he wears that first.
Snug indeed.
Snug it out.
How far?
On this, just that last.
It's all right. It's okay. Good one, guys.